Caravan RPG.
A haven for the lost, the worn, and the wandering.
Whether you only need a place to rest your soul,
or looking for a brand new journey, we welcome you.
You are safe within our ranks, surrounded by the friends you have yet to meet.
Some of you may be new, eager to take your first steps in the shoes of a hero.
Others are veterans of a war fought through generations.
Having played dozens of characters
and rolled hundreds of dice.
Either way, we can promise you will find moments of adventure and heartbreak,
as well as moments of tears and laughter.
Countless noble tales have been spun around our campfire,
such as Pathfinder, Dungeons and Dragons, Lancer, and Locust.
We travel anywhere and everywhere,
exploring towering castles, desolate space stations, and haunted mansions.
We have a few roles if you decide to stay.
Treat each other with love, kindness, and acceptance.
We never judge on appearance, only on richness of character.
For as long as you ride with the caravan, you will never walk alone.
We work together to forge a better world for us and for every traveler after we're gone.
So, take a seat, grab a drink, and listen to our tales.
When you're ready, we'll help you tell a tale of your own.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Lost Caravan RPG. Oh, this is the first time I've got to intro this channel. That felt so good to say. I'm your guest GM tonight, Taylor, or at _potato_ in the internet. I'll intro everyone else momentarily, but first, let's get out of the way what we're doing here on this channel. Obviously, today we're playing some Wildsea, which is a brand new, super interesting, like piratey sailing take, but with nature. We'll get into how that all works, but we had the quick start guide and we're playing that. Also, be sure to come back tomorrow where there's Pathfinder 2E, Saturday where there is D&D 5E, the Venestra campaign. If y'all have not been watching it, just go catch up. And then Lancer, everybody's favorite, on Sunday, season 2 of Mechromancers. I did not know that's what y'all's campaign was called. That is absolutely beautiful. But yeah, that's what's coming up. And then always give love to Lost Caravan's wonderful sponsors of Hero Forge and Epidemic Sound, which I use both of them constantly, so catch that. But that's all that's going on here. Let's meet all of these wonderful people. I'm just go clockwise with how I see everybody on the screen, which is probably not proper. Let's start with Lonnie.
Okay, surprise, that's me. Hi everyone, I am Looney Shaz or Lonnie. This is my first stream ever, so bear with me if I'm a little slow with getting the rules and everything, but I'm really excited to be here.
Yes. Oh yeah, I guess disclaimer too for a new game. This is all of our first time playing it, so you're gonna learn with us while we learn. But then Frank.
Hi, I am Frank. I'll be playing Baron. Also first stream game. First time playing this like everybody else. I'm pretty nervous and very excited.
Good.
That'll be great. Yeah, that's a great place to live. David.
Hi everybody, my name is David. Taylor and I are on High Shelf Collective together. I'm super excited to be here, part of this game, and just trying something new, right? This is good stuff. I've never been a cactus person before. I can't wait to play one here on TV right now. So thank you all for having me.
Yes, and then last but definitely not least, Kessa.
Hello, I'm a filthy casual here on the Lost Caravan, but I'm excited to be playing just a bunch of spiders in a body human skin. So yeah, fun.
We're gonna tell y'all this was like a really weird Earth piratey setting. We got cactus people, we got spiders in skin suits. It's gonna be interesting. But like I said, I am Taylor, and I'm playing I am the Firefly, which is what essentially the GM is called in this game, and that is so freaking cute. But like David said, I'm over on High Shelf Collective. You can also find me on Tuesdays on 2000 Tales, playing Big Gay Dice Game, which is Spelljammer. Chaotic, wonderful, doing things, and more stuff here in like 2 weeks. I don't know what time is, but we're playing Cyberpunk on here on Les Caravan, the 27th, I believe. We're gonna be playing the new Archon setting, another Gen Con find like the Wildsea was. So, but that's I guess that's all. I guess that's all the important stuff. We're done. Let me find my wonderful intro that I definitely didn't steal the copy from the Kickstarter, which you can still go over to the Kickstarter and grab your quick start guide. But to give everybody a little intro into what this weird world is that we'll be playing in. So, let me move this over here so I can read it. Some 300 years ago, the empires of the world were toppled by a wave of fast-growing greenery, a tide of rampant growth spilling from the west known as the Wildsea. Now, chainsaw-driven ships cut their ways across the dense treetop waves, their engines powered by oil fruit, rope golems, honey, and pride. Everyone here is playing as a wind sailor and part of a pretty motley crew, let's be honest, of humanity's weathered descendants, cactoid gunslingers, centipedal fungi, silk-clothed spider folk, and other strange things. With these, your crewmates, your fellow adventurers, you journey across the tide, discovering charts, pursuing drives, and avoiding mires of the deep. The Wildsea hungers, grows, roots sinking deep into the forest floor as the waves above ripple with life. So, you all find yourself in the Wildsea, as you must. You are pretty near the outskirts of Foxloft Reach, or the Reach, Foxloft. For anyone looking to pick up the Quick Start Guide, all of this is in there. They did a little sample world building for you. So, but you're not quite there yet. You're not into the safety of it, as you all are on your boat, which is a, scavenger boat in need of a little bit of repair, but it gets the job done. It is called, I wrote it down, The Fading Dawn. And in this latest kind of scavenging mission that y'all have gone on, which can really vary from just getting organic goods and, the fruit needed to make the oil for ships to bring in and sell into town, or maybe even there are old ruins that still rise above the treetops that need scavenged. Well, a lot of them have picked over. There's still some goodies that can be found. Or in general, hunting the odd monsters that lurk below the leaves and get some sort of, resources from them to bring back. But currently, you're on the much more interesting one of you have found yourselves, all of you, on the deck of your ship, ready to dive below the leaves just a little bit, as there is a rumored really nice hall in a more treacherous section here on the outskirts, in some sort of ruins left from the long forgotten olden times. See, this is a apocalyptic future that is so far removed. Y'all don't really know what skyscrapers are or what this would have been. Things are very much lost, which makes it all the more interesting to dig in there and see what is going on. We are going to start, or I'll let anyone kind of maybe, if you have an idea of what your character would be doing as y'all are on the deck of the ship getting ready. You have quite a few other crewmates and people going around, anyone can kind of claim whatever job you wish, but you've got a captain, you've got some other deckhands and the sorts. But you have been tasked as the more competent members to lead this little bit of scavenging. Who wants to go first and kind of intro what you look like and what you may be doing in this moment?
I will start. So Quoben, or Quoben, this large Ectus character. Got like a ridged skin from like his cactine body has absorbed ample water for this journey. He's ready to go. Quoben is generally draped in some sort of like cloth, cloth like a full suited, like almost like a dress, right? Or like a old Greco tunic kind of thing. Like just goes from like shoulders down to the knees, kind of deal. And Coben, unless somebody else has taken it, Coben's main edge is tides, so exploration, learning, and lore. And Coben is leaning over the edge of the vessel, looking down amongst the trees, down amongst the foliage, and is trying to divine what lies beneath, under this canopy for us, to what treacherous stuff is ahead of us. Like kind of peering between the bramble and foliage, and trying to ascertain if there's something immediately ahead of us that we need to be aware of. So he's like holding onto the railing, leaned all the way out, right, looking down into the depths and into the dark. That's where we find Corbin.
Yeah, and I think too, as you're kind of looking deep down into this, so the area near Fox Loft is known for its very green, golden, beautiful leaves, little sections of flowers that kind of poof up like spores. Y'all have found yourself in a very dark section of a forest canopy here in the Wildsea. The leaves are almost like reddish brown, kind of autumnal, but spookier. And you can see a lot more of the actual big twisted gnarled branches and stuff kind of deep within. And you notice that while currently it is a sunny beautiful day above you, the light is getting eaten up very, very quickly in this dark kind of tree cover here as you're looking. But everything seems still. You're not getting any, wonderful what do they call the earthquakes in this? They have a fancy name. But you're not getting any scary vibes yet, other than just the kind of ominousness. Is that a word? Of it all.
Yes.
Cool. What about Kamset? Let's go with you first. What next? What is your character? Who are they? What do they look like? Where may they be positioned in this moment?
So my character's name is Kiaria, or Ki to her crew members. She's right now she's got the skin of an ardent, so she looks human, and she's just also draped in whatever parts and bits that she could find. But like I said, they are just a hive of spiders, and right now she'd probably be on the deck of the ship, just kind of looking through all the stuff that they got in their last haul. Maybe some like trinkets and shiny things. Maybe a few spiders would go to her crewmates, maybe to Quoben, and just kind of like seeing what he sees and just kind of skittering up and just looking around and seeing what's there. She's probably a bit annoyed that the light kind of went, because then the shiny things weren't so shiny anymore. So.
And Coben's totally okay with this. He's fine. He's fine with spiders on him. David is not, but Coben is.
Coben's like, yeah.
Yeah, this
bud.
is normal for me. This is my crewmate being helpful. This is good. This is very good.
Just love a body of freaking It's so good. Let's see. So while you're kind of digging through this box of goods that y'all, let's say you have a crew member. Let's name them. I wanted to say Frank again from earlier. I can't be Frank.
We can have a Frank.
How about Innis?
Ennis. There you go.
I'm just gonna keep throwing names at you until
I love it. And I mean, there's just like, random syllables in this game, which should make it easier, but I forget letters as soon as I try to come up with an NPC name. Uh, but they've kind of been categorizing some of the things, and the more important resources and stuff have kind of been brought to the side, where these shiny things honestly don't have a ton of value in this world. In the world that you live in, it's a lot of bartering. So maybe someone might think it looks pretty and they want it, but it is a lot of, the natural resources and the things are the more viable. So like it is, we'll say he's a human of sorts, real rough and tumble, just kind of keeps them to the side for you after getting kind of the goods that they can sell off when y'all get to port. And he's just like, there's this thing in there that I think would be very interesting. So it's almost like a rope, but made out of like the shiny chrome, and then it has a little shiny rock on it. He lifts up a necklace.
Yeah, I'll kind of just take it from him, just thanks for that, and I'll just wrap it around my wrist.
He's like, yeah, I kind of pulled on it. It felt like it wouldn't actually hold any weight, so it didn't seem too useful, but it's shiny.
It's pretty, thank you.
You're welcome. And he kind of grabs another big box that's full of like old furs and stuff of to us monstrosities. To you, it's like, oh, that's one of those weird bug foxes.
As he walks away, one of the spiders will like just crawl on his shoulder as well.
He's more like, this is fine. This is fine. I am okay with this. He's really working on it. Like, this is normal. This is normal. As he walks and kind of disappears into the cabin. Let's see. Frank, let's go with you next. Where, what do you look like?
Okay. I am going to be playing Terran, also a Zelicray spider colony.
Good.
Really good. Really good. So I actually am playing more of a Tinkerer type character. So I think that Terran was less volunteered for this roster and was volunteered. And so maybe
to be here.
I was voluntold. It was my my turn on the roster. Everybody has to go on a run every once in a while. And so I think maybe our NPC friend is probably bringing more craftable items for me to look over and see if I can repair anything on the ship or make anything use of them.
Yeah, definitely.
But Terran doesn't. They have a skin, doesn't really matter too much. More focused on making things work, and personal, maintenance isn't a high priority. So just pieces. Spiders.
Love it. I like thinking, there's like kind of a human-esque arm, but then it's also a really poorly formed cactus like head. It's like
Just-
pieces that don't even really match.
Just pick up pieces when one falls off. Just like
Yes. Yeah, and I think probably that after Ennis kind of drops off some of the things inside, comes back out. It's like, oh, Taryn, so Yeah, I don't know. You weren't on the roster last time, but when we went down, found some old wreckage, other ship wreckage, pretty shallow in, and I thought you might be able to make something out of this. And kind of scoots a box over here, lots of clinking and clanging, and it looks like there's kind of some engine pieces, some like chunks of kind of the chainsaw track that is on some things. Um, as well as what looks to be kind of like a gun with a little harpoon on the end of it, but it looks like the barrel's kind of broken off a little bit from the actual handhold of it. It's like tree climbing equipment. I don't.
There's something.
It's up to you. Yeah. Good luck with that. Just scoots it over to you. And then Lonnie. Who?
All right. Well, so I guess we all went with a pretty similar mindsets because I am also an Ectus. So we have 2 and 2. So, really easy to remember what we are. I am also an Ectus. I'm probably kind of on the shorter side for an Ectus because usually they're like literally like a head and shoulders taller than everybody else. I'm probably, like 6 foot where everyone's like 5'10", so I'm not, and Ectus don't really have any like eyes and a mouth, like facial features defining. They actually have more like flowers blooming in random places to kind of like define who they are. So I'd like to think that like, I don't know, I probably have some cool flowers, just budding in random places that as soon as somebody sees me, they'll be like, that's definitely Shalon and not, But also I have a pet, it's called a catacora. And it's basically a little cat, but it has like quilled, fibrous looking skin. His name is Gobi, and he'll probably be sitting by my feet as I as I am talking to one of my crewmates, because I have actually I probably know the crew the best out of most of the people here, just because I kind of, I didn't really have a solid like home life. I kind of just took to the seas pretty early on. So I've kind of been with the same ship for a really long time. So I'm probably just kind of like, talking to Fred over here or Innes over there. Also just whenever I can, I'm usually talking about any kind of like lore that I can find. So there are these things called whispers that I was reading about, and like my character, just whenever she has the chance to get a whisper, like I think she collected every single one that she possibly could with all of the things that she had already. So she's just trying to gain as much info as she can. So yeah.
Love it. Yeah, we'll say that maybe you're kind of sitting up near the helm as everything's getting ready, and we got Captain. I did make a name for this one. Kalanch, Kalanch, who also, because I didn't know we had so many cactuses here, but we're gonna say that he is more akin to like a succulent, is kind of almost a mix between that gal and that Actus of very, like an aloe, very sharp edges, but other than that, like a very smooth kind of build within that really pretty like red to blue gradient that some of them have. I don't know succulent names, unfortunately, but those really pretty red ones to blue in the edges. And yeah, he's kind of sitting there just going through some charts and just listening to kind of whatever you have to say. And he's like, well, I think after we get done with this and start kind of heading back to camp, instead of just heading back to camp, which is a boat because we basically never leave here. I think we're gonna go back into Foxloft proper. Try to maybe get into port, sell some of this off. So Start making a wish list of whispers for that place, because man, it's been a long time since I've been in this part of the world.
Well, good thing I took up the language of, I think it's brass tongue, which is really good with working with the traders. So, like, count me in. I'm right on top of it.
Well, I guess looks like everyone's kind of gathered up, and he'll get up and stretch and kind of walk over. He very much is very tall, like nearly 9 foot, very tall, but also has on these like shoes that give a little bit more of a height. Very much look, I know I'm big, but like y'all gotta know. Because he's so pretty. He's gotta compensate a little bit by just being real big and tough. And it's kind of like comes over and he's like, all right, Key, Quoven, Shalon, Taryn. Crew today. We've got some sort of ruins here that have been covered up for a good bit. It seems that some more, I don't know, quakes, winds, not quite sure what's happening around here, to be honest, but it has made some things free again, which is good for us because we got here first, hopefully. Should be pretty easy. It seems like just kind of your standard run. You've got right over there, and he kind of like points, and you see there's a section of where y'all are kind of lower down in the waves of this, kind of getting a good look, and you can see that there's this section that kind of makes a little bit of a pretty steep incline waving up, and you can see some concrete kind of peeking through some of the sections of these twisted, like I said, very gray twisted branches, little knotty sections, plus then all that dark foliage, and you can almost see what looks to be maybe like red vines that are red in still that autumnal way of that really deep dark red orange, and that have little leaves that kind of poke up but seem to have kind of taken over a good section of this wall. And you kind of look over and it's all quiet. He's like, it seems like the majority of the building, if rumors are right, whatever this was, the trees kind of broke it apart, so there's not a ton of real estate to look through, so I think y'all can about manage it. If there's anything you need, feel free to ask away. Gather what you need. We'll get you over there and make sure you can get in as safe as possible. Ennis! You see him kind of coming out. He's like, get the lifeboat. Oh, we need to come up with a better name of it. The smaller one that we can get out there with. Y'all know, like, the lifeboat would probably not keep you alive for any bit of time, as, like, very much it's broken.
This is great. This is great, because nautically, it would be a pinnace. So it's Ennis who flies the pinnace.
There you go!
This is good.
Love it.
So good.
Love it.
Assuming we still use nautical terms for these chainsaw ships. I don't know.
Sure, I'm sure. Well, hey, when the full book comes out, guys, we'll know. But yeah, and you see he kind of goes over and starts hitting some buttons, and a piece of the ship kind of slowly starts to move back, and this lifeboat comes out that, like, one of the chainsaws barely even works at this point. They've taken that used to have kind of two propulsion engine things on the back here, that now one of them has stopped working, so they just adjusted the other one closer to the middle, so at least you can still drive straight. But you know, it'll get you the 50 feet that direction. That's what really matters here. But at this point, is there anything that any of y'all think you would like to collect or do? I don't know, as far as moves or anything, before you actually are delving in. Are y'all ready to go for it?
I think I want to...
Go ahead.
No, please, go.
No, I said that I have like hawk sight. So, I mean, if I look, can I see if there's anyone? Because the captain didn't seem very sure.
Yeah. So I think as you start looking and kind of get up close, you now have a point of reference. Do a little pull a hood or your hands to try and block out the sunshine and peer in. And this very much looks um out of place, as you can kind of see now that it looks like this section of concrete, because you'll have seen some of the, so near Foxloft there are the seven walls that are big pieces of old ruins that come out. For us, they're like old skyscrapers, but they definitely seem very established and sturdy enough in this one very much looks like it is a chunk of something. It's almost angled a bit. It looks a little off, and I would think that you could probably tell too that with these roots and stuff, that seems to maybe be a lot of it, that it's just kind of pulled this apart from something maybe much deeper down that y'all aren't fully equipped for, so they're more focused on this easy thing before you start diving very deep. But as you're looking, you can see that there is a section now where it looks like one of the trees holding it has been just ripped off to the side. It almost looks not, it hasn't made a chasm or anything. It's not a big fall, but it looks like a lot of this greenery, these branches up here have been pulled off in one big kind of chunk. And that is weird. It is a section, I guess, for view that's probably about two of your ship's size of this that has now made it free. So it's not like it's just a branch. It's not something your ship could have done by just driving through with your little chainsaw rudders. But it has kind of made this section of it much more viewable, where there is a opening that looks like it was probably a window kind of section at one point, that now more of this concrete, and you can see some of the rhubarb kind of sticking out and some metal pieces that have been twisted with just age and rusted, that have made for a bigger opening that you could essentially get on top and hop down into it. But as far as life, you do not see anything moving about yet.
So Key turns to her crew and says, "It looks clear. I think we're ready to go."
Great news. This is fantastic. You all see as Coben fiddles with this around his wrist, or what would be a wrist, right? Whatever's holding like tools and implements. He's got this little teeny tiny blown glass bottle with a cork in it, and inside is the tiniest bit of real sand. And he fiddles it with it whenever he's nervous, right? And he's gazing in this direction. Is there anything that I can do from a the hides perspective to see if there's any I'm trying to use this aspect here of digging into lore and secrets of this area. Is there anything known knowledge that I can reach back to about what we're about to get into with these ancient ruins that have recently become available?
Yeah, so let's see. Let me look at the skills and stuff again, specifically.
The skills for Ectus,
Or if there's anything you think, if not, I can kind of give you some stuff. I said it's one of those weird blades and Powered by the Apocalypse gray areas of do I have you roll, or do I just tell you?
Yeah, sure. Well, I don't know. Let's see. Let me just double check the skill for Gatherer. That's the only thing I can think of that's kind of maybe not cutting through trees way. Or maybe that's one of the things I'm doing. Maybe maybe I hack through a little bit of the trees to look for an insignia or some sort of ancient sign of these ruins that would give us a clue. So maybe something like that. Maybe I'm cutting through some stuff real quick to try and figure out like what is it that we're about to get to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I think y'all kind of start to get on this dinghy here and make your way a little bit away from here. And Corbin, you can be kind of up on the front, kind of looking, trying to look further down into the darkness and see if you can kind of gather what all's going on. And as you get closer, start to cut some of that apart there. Let's see, with your gatherer, is that just one of your general like aspects, or
It's a
is
skill. Well, so sorry, I was thinking hack because I think hack is the skill where you can like cut through foliage and stuff.
I actually have 2 levels in Scrutinize, which for noticing patterns, evidence, and details others miss. Also allows you to better explore new environments. So you might wanna,
stuff.
You can use that too, yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, let's okay, so this is gonna be our first walkthrough of how we build a dice bowl. I'll let kind of Quoven go and we'll see what's found there, and then Taryn, you'll kind of come in and put in these last little puzzle pieces here. So I'm gonna kind of read it as we know. Our current, we are building a dice pool. So actions are rolled with between 1 and 6 d6s by making a pool, and you'll look for the highest result. 5 and 6 would be nice. Doubles, we have a nice, beautiful, big old chart. To create this, you can draw from edge, skill, or advantages, which, let's see, does advantage also, we could also, if you would like, you could lend your d6 Taryn to Quoven to kind of bump up that and give an advantage, and it'll kind of be a group effort, or if you would like to separate it to you, that is also an option. Let's see. So
I think it'd be fun if we both did separate roles just so we get more practice at this.
Yeah, practice with that. So you can also get advantage if you have some sort of gear or trait that can help you with that. So if you want to look and see if you have anything on you that can help, or any sort of trait that you've taken, but you do have the skill, so you'll be able to use you'll have the normal d6, the skill will add another, and then any sort of advantage that you would like to add onto that. There's not going to be any sort of cuts, which is like the danger, when stuff is bad, because currently y'all are still exploring. There's not a big complication happening yet.
No, so like the Ectus are pretty interesting. Like a lot of their gear comes from their body, right? And they don't really have like, I can't see something in here that would be super useful. So then I'm gonna roll like a couple of dice because I got the one skill in the thing, and then if I get to use my edge, then I think that gives me a d6. So I'll be rolling 2 dice.
Perfect.
All right,
Go
cool.
for it. So just 2 d6s.
I'm happy. Sweet. That is a 6 and a 1 on my.
Nice. Okay,
on my
so
stuff
6 is your highest. In this game, for everyone, 6 is obviously great. 5 and 4s, you'll have some sort of conflicts. 3, 2, 1, disaster, something's really bad. But you also take note anytime any of y'all roll doubles, because you can have a 6, which is a triumph, but then if you add 2 2s, there's also a twist with it. So it kind of builds on that direction. But we did not have any doubles, we have no twists, we just have a triumph, which is a complete success with no drawbacks. If you're affecting a track, which maybe you are, I get to make secret ones, because also kind of blades like we have tracks instead of clocks. That I can keep track of as well. Plus then there's tracks when you're playing a bigger game with bigger goals and leveling up, which we're not even gonna stress ourselves out with one shot. But so you are able to, as you kind of go through, to hack through some of this, and you kind of help Ennis kind of steer in certain directions to kind of move some bigger swaths as y'all are going by as well. And you're able to get a pretty clear look of this general wall that maybe had some sort of painting to it at one point that now is just stained in the concrete. You know, there's no actual anything left however many years ago, 300, some 300, maybe
Yeah.
more. Um, but I think with just y'all being scavengers in general, like you've seen some shit, you've heard some stories, especially with Shaylin and the whisper collecting and hearing all of these rumors and things, and you know that any of these ruins that you're finding are of some importance just by kind of these sizes and some of the materials that are found. And I think you're able to kind of discern some of this hardiness of it, I guess, for a lack of better terms, and how much is put together, that there was definitely some sort of care and importance. And then as you even look a little bit closer and pull some things to the side, uh, you see that the the structure itself has a lot of metal working in it that isn't as old as this room should be. It looks after the fact.
Okay.
And so that's giving you a little bit of a hint that maybe someone has been here, but that too also looks a bit older. You know, you're not seeing any fresh markings of any sort of factions that you know of, or noticing any sort of, you know, newer welding marks or anything. So it does still look a little bit older, but has been retrofitted in some sort of way.
Okay. All right. So
If that helps.
yeah. So I guess then in that way that Coben would bring back to the group. So it appears that this has been recently inhabited, maybe a few years ago even, but there's rust on these welds, so they haven't been around for some time, I think. Whoever lived here again.
Do you think that means they took all the stuff that might have been here already?
So this looks rather large, so probably not. There's still worth going further, I think.
So Shalon is at like the back of the boat. She's sitting near the engine that you kind of said they moved like towards the middle to kind of make sure that it was navigating the boat. And she's basically like, she's familiar with this lifeboat, so she's basically ready to like elbow it if it like starts to putter out or something. She's ready to like elbow it or do something that she knows will like get it back to life. But also, she has this iris blossom that is, you know, on her collection of facial flowers, I guess, whatever you want to call it. And it basically lets her see heat the way others would see color. So I guess I'm like assuming it basically would be kind of like a heat test where you can see like if an area has been inhabited really recently and there's some kind of heat signature, maybe she'd be able to recognize it. So she kind of has that turned on and is basically just like keeping her blossom equivalent of an ear open for whenever the engine needs to be elbowed. But she's looking out for if there's any heat signatures. So she'll, as soon as they mention that there's an area that looks like it might have been inhabited within years, or who knows, maybe sooner or more recently, she'll kind of turn her gaze towards that and see if there's anything she can see.
Yeah, I'll say you're sitting there and you feel a second of kind of a stall, and as Quoben finishes, you just, you know, elbow it real quick. Ding. You're like, oh, okay, and start to kind of look around. And currently, everything is pretty normal. You're not seeing any kind of recent heat signatures or anything as you'll get closer. Taryn, did you want to still kind of try and dive deeper into this, or?
Yeah, are we like approaching this? Are we like just about getting there?
Yeah, I think by this time, once Quoven's kind of pulled some of this bits apart, you're probably just, you know, 7 feet or so down from this window opening that's at an angle, so it'll be easy enough for y'all to kind of skitter up and hop into it.
Okay. Then I think I will do another use my scrutinize, and then would you say this is more veils or tides?
Let
So
me
veils is
read
like
what, let me read what Veils is again. Is that one?
I think Veils is like being sneaky and kind of using like illusion to be able to.
Let's see. So you're at your best when your influence is near impossible to detect, managing situations from behind the scenes. Is used to go. Okay, so I think Veils. I would do more tides in this one, whereas Veils is more you trying to be sneaky.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna do. I have 2 in scrutinize. I have 1 in tides, and then I have a swarm. No, not the swarm scout to let you see ahead and hear at distances. I don't think that applies here. So I'm gonna roll.
I would let it because you could hear something interesting. So I'd let that give you an advantage die. So that would make it 4.
4.
Right? Did you say 2? Yeah.
You set out all your little segments of your colony.
Yes.
They skitter around and
Wait,
find
can your
things for us.
spiders glide on the water? Like, do they have an ability to like have the tension to be on top of the water?
I have arachnid mobility, so I don't have to cut for difficult terrain. So they essentially just walk over there.
All right.
Yeah.
This is horrific to me, by the way, folks. It's just like the whole idea is pretty terrifying. I love it, but also it's terrifying.
Anytime you just put a bunch of bugs in like Oogie Boogie when I was younger, horrifying. Traumatized me. I'm like, there should not be that many bugs in a human form.
Okay, this is fun. So I rolled 4d6. I have 1 6, so we take the highest, right? And then I also have a double 1. So I don't know if that counts doubles or just like general together, or because it's a low number that's going to be.
No, it's from what I'm gathering, it is just in general.
So we have
that's how we're
6
gonna run
and
with it.
doubles.
Yeah,
Awesome.
6 and doubles. So you triumph with a twist. So I think what this triumph and a twist is you kind of send out your spiders and you're listening in while kind of looking over all of these bits that Quoben has now unearthed, and you're able to tell that, like I said, this looks to be maybe 2 stories worth of a building that has now been broken off and pulled up with these vines. But as they kind of glide over and get into this little area, you have, I mean, it is you. You are the spiders. So you can kind of see down into here, and it looks, for the most part, a empty, kind of smaller room. You can see that there is a doorway of sorts at this angle. Everything is going to be a real weird leaning, but you can kind of see this wrecked doorway. Those vines are now starting to kind of grow within it as well. But you notice through that doorway a very low, pulsing, purplish light. And you can hear what would almost be like a white noise kind of feeling. It's very, very low. It would probably be one of those, almost like when your ears ringing, just kind of slight, but you can hear it really well with yours, that it's almost a little disorienting, as you can hear this thrumming white noise sound kind of emanating out of here. You also notice that there are remnants in this room that you are in of some boxes, and that are more new of make. You do notice that quite a few of the wooden ones, though, do seem to have some sort of kind of mushroom growth starting to kind of come off of them. Um, that is remnant of a uh, type of spore that can be found pretty frequently throughout the area that, you know, makes it a little hard to see and it's a little weird to breathe. But prolonged exposure is not great. But everything's nice and clear now. But it looks like at some point in time, the spore may have been kind of growing in here, whereas now everything is more this dark black and these dark red vines that look almost dead.
Is that like a humming sound more like a natural sound or like a machine sound?
Neither really.
Okay.
It's like an energy, I think, more than anything. You know, when you can just kind of hear that like thrum, that of something.
If I may, I have another aspect called Ritual Mask. You can see spirits, echoes, and the spiritual realm. So I don't know if I want to use that to try and figure out a better idea of what might be down there.
Yeah. Easy enough. Easy enough. I don't think that is really anything you need to super roll for or anything like that. As you kind of switch into this view and kind of really focus in on this sound, you can almost see the sound start to kind of form a bit. And it doesn't necessarily have any sort of like corporeal view that is humanoid or anything spiritual in that sense, as more as you can now actually see this black kind of radiating energy that kind of pulses out and around and kind of goes into the plants as it comes out. It's kind of sucked into these vines.
I think Taryn is gonna, turn back to everyone. Be like, there's some weird mushrooms, there's some weird plants, and there's a weird noise. They're all doing something, but it's not a machine. So, not.
As an Ectus, Shalon is wondering, like, can she say that's racist?
Weird plant.
Discrimination. What are you trying to say?
Unsettling, for sure.
But Shalon is also all for trying to, experience new places, figure out what's in the area. So, like, where'd you say this was coming from?
From like, if you point at it, I think it would be really funny if or in my head I saw that like everyone kind of just goes towards that side of the ship, and then because it's so rickety, it just kind of like tips a little bit.
Everyone's like, what? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like there's maybe an old brig down that way. Down there. It's pretty dark, but that's where stuff seems to be.
Should we head towards it?
There would be something of value there for sure. Let's go.
Shalon has her, like, if there's like a thing to turn the boat, she's like itching to like reach for it to like turn it towards the area where
I like to think it's just a trolling motor. Just a trolling motor in the back of this thing.
With like a chainsaw at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, so you steer a little bit. Get the boat kind of angled up so when y'all do all step on that side to get off, it's braced on the edge of the building itself and not just the leaves. And yeah, you all kind of, like I said, it's a relatively steep incline, but nothing too terribly dangerous at this point. As you all scamper your way up, it's probably wide enough for about 2 people at a time. Who's hopping in first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm
I
super
will.
curious.
So Kai and Taryn?
Yeah, I have.
Shalon will kind of be like holding the boat steady while everyone's trying to get off, while it's like rocking a little bit.
Yep. I'll take third then. That'll be good.
Okay.
Wait, is Innes
Okay.
with us too then, or is it just the four?
Yes, we're just gonna kind of stay at the boat, but yeah.
And my Katakora is also coming with us too, but I'll like pick him up and put him out of the water.
There's like a little minute of like he starts going and just sliding a little bit. Like all the claws has to scamper up real quick and get in the windowsill. But yeah, so Kai, Taryn, y'all hop in first, or Key. You hop in first, and you. It's not too terribly far of a drop to kind of get to the floor, which is more the side wall. So assume here's my room. There's the door. That's what y'all came in, and you got to leave through a door over here. So you're able to hop down on the other wall there. And like I said, you see some boxes and things that are around, as well as on what would be the floor of this room is completely gone. Fully, it is branches, it is leaves, it is more of those vines, and you can get a little bit better view of just the depth of this area here, as it seems like almost a lot of the foliage dies out, or is thinner the further down it goes, but much shallower than it seems to be in other parts that y'all have been in, where it can be a very long way before there's any sort of break. And it's still that stinking dark in there. And a second later, Coleman and then Shalon and little Gobi hop back in, and y'all are all there. It seems sturdy enough, kind of where y'all are standing. It's a little concerning. The angle kind of goes towards this open hole here, but now all of you can see this kind of low purple light that seems to be coming through this doorway to your side. I think to Quoven, maybe you'd be more tuned in since you had looked at the building before, that these boxes and things seem to match the materials, time, make of things that you've seen outside. Like there's similar iron on this box as there was out there, or similar wood. Probably really mostly wood. I bet any iron is used on ships, but it is a little older, and you can tell with these spores as well that the mushrooms have kind of taken root, that some will with these spore clouds that y'all have seen in the past, but these almost look dry, like not fresh. You're not going to see a spore cloud. It looks like they've maybe been sitting here for a good bit. But the whole area is very void of any sort of markings. Even these boxes don't have any sort of like, this is my organization, or even a shipping
No
box
labels.
label. Yeah, nothing. Like everything is like very, very plain.
Gotcha. And did you say any of them were open, or are they all still sealed?
I would say some have kind of a wooden lid kind of sat down on it. Some are just broken from, you can see some of the roots have already kind of grabbed into some of them, of these plants. But there are a couple that are still intact and kind of closed up.
The ones that are kind of broken, I want to like peer at what's spilling out, or what's just in there. Is it like foodstuffs in stores, or is it like scrap, or do I have a sense of what they were storing here before I go opening something? I just want to see if there's something I can discern for free.
Absolutely. Okay, hold on 1 second, because there is an exploration and finding things. Let me read this little chart real quick. So while exploring a scene, you should be on the lookout for opportunities to scavenge resources that might come in useful in your travels. Picking over wrecks, corpses, clearing vaults of forgotten ruins. Here we are. It seems like, well, no, because it says doubles. So I think it is still then. Because it still has the option to roll doubles. So I think it would still kind of be within just your. Oh my God, there's like one break in my blinds. Right, Max.
Out east, it's dark.
Right.
You
Yeah.
need no sun.
My blinds are wide open and I just have light on my desk. I can't even.
I have one of those, like, you know, the old crappy where you like turn the little rod and it turns on, and one of them is broken.
Oh, yeah, of course it's the
This
one.
is the one.
Of course it's the one.
Lucky.
That's the one. I'm like, I'm gonna just tape it back up there. Okay, so do you have any sort of things, aspects, traits, edges to use within this exploration to see what all we may find in these boxes?
Yeah, right. I'm
I have scavenger.
There you go. Let's
I have
have somebody else.
scavenge ×2.
Let's have somebody else roll. Because actually,
You
I
give
don't
an
have
advantage.
scavenge, and there you go.
Yeah.
I'll help someone else. That's what I'll
Alright.
do.
Yeah. So let's see. So if we want maybe Shalon, if you want to roll it, and you can, because you had 2, correct?
Yeah.
So then you can have an advantage from Quoven and from Key.
So that would be 3d6 then, because I have 2 for scavenge. Would tides or instinct, or I have tides, instinct, or sharps.
I'm leaning tides. Let me double check instinct.
I made my character a dredger, so I was trying to make sure that she was good at finding things.
Nice.
Yes.
So this is my time to shine.
If this is like Blades, then really we tell
You can kind of
Taylor.
explain how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We say, "Oh, Taylor, I want to be using these aspects," and then she's like, "Yes," and then we do it. Yeah. At least that's how Blades works. I don't know if that's exactly their intention here, but
I mean, that's kind of what I've been gathering with it. So yeah, if you know, you could say, I'll use instincts because, you know, one of them is reacting to hazards or learning more about the world around you. Like, you know, you're
like
smart enough to know.
exploratory, being alert.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's a really like thin line, then sometimes it's like less effective, or something like maybe okay, but you get less out of that. You know, it's a bit of a stretch.
So we're
your
thinking
way
That's when I can also like put cuts on you if you're like, I don't really have a ton that I can do in the situation, but I'm gonna do this and it's gonna be like risky, and I'm like, that's when I get to kind of put more.
So what we're saying is I need to make sure I have the descriptions open for all my edges, so I can make sure I know which one applies the best.
Yes,
there you go.
and then
We'll
have
do
a
that.
good case.
Okay, well, you already made the case for instinct for me. I have scavenge ×2, so that's another 2d6, and then for advantage that would be 1 more d6 or 2 because there's 2 people helping.
Let me double check that because
I'm assuming
it does have on
1.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know it's like you can have like 1d6 for sure on edge. You can have up to 2 on your like aspects. Where is that section of the chart? I lost it.
It's on page 14. There's a building your dice pool thing. It's literally 1d6 for your edge, up to 3d6 for a skill, so I only have 2. And then advantage is anything you can use from your possessions or situation that works in your favor. So if there's like somebody helping me, that would kind of be like something in my situation. That's
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah, and that one can be up to 2d6.
Okay.
So even just helps with your action, usually adds 1d6, but if you have many sources of advantage, the Firefly might raise it to 2. So I will let you have the 2d6 because you have time on your side, you have 2 people helping. Nice. You already kind of know what's going on in here thanks to Taryn already explaining a little bit of the creepy. So
okay.
5 total?
5 total. Okay, good thing I had that because I have 1 6 and I rolled double 2s.
Nice. Okay, let me go back to my beautiful.
We're gonna find
little-
everything.
We're gonna find so many things. Alrighty. You said 5 was the highest?
6 was the highest. 6 is the highest with double 2s.
Okay. So, okay. So you kind of start to peer through some of these open boxes, Corbin kind of pointing you in the general direction of where some of this is. And knowing now a little bit of just the plant life and such, knowing that, okay, these mushrooms are probably okay. Let me just kind of scoot those to the side. You are able to get a pretty good look in here. And where is the section with the resources? The first thing that I think is more the something unusual here is in one of these boxes that are broken. It seems like some of the bits of wood and how these vines are kind of growing kind of makes a shape like there's something under there. So you kind of push those to the side and pull off some of these vines so you're able to get out, which looks to be a box. It's, maybe a foot by a foot-ish height and wide, and it seems to be a metal, which is one odd in general, for the majority of your resources are wood, but to have this box that is fully metallic and it has a lid. It looks like there's a lock on it that was undone and is kind of in disrepair, a little rusted, but when you open up and look into it, it has this kind of what looks to be maybe like a moss that someone has put in here, that you've probably seen and used certain things like this to cushion breakables and stuff in transport. And so you can see that that's kind of in there, and it's molded where it almost has like a pyramid-esque shape going down into it, but that is empty. And then go on.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, so Key, did you say that you were like an engineering type your character is?
No, that's Tal.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So
Except the spiders, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a
We're
bit
gonna
racist.
get...
No.
I already made a joke about someone being racist about calling weird mushrooms, so my bad. Oops. Anyway, I'll kind of bring attention to you about that and kind of just ask if anything looks familiar, like, familiar shape, or like if the metal looks familiar, like from a engineering perspective. Taryn.
Sure. Let me do I think I'm gonna use scrutinize again. Let me make sure.
So while you're kind of going through that, you open up another box that, for the most part, they seem pretty picked through. If there was anything kind of in here, you see one that looks like it maybe had some sort of like rations or something that just has essentially the containers left in it. Like these were very much kind of left to the wayside, it seems. With the exception of one box that was still kind of nailed together, that you're able to kind of pull out the pegs and kind of look inside, and it seems to have, and it's a smaller box that almost it has like 2 little handles on the side of it. Has some like clothing in there, like a couple of like thin kind of satin-y as shirts, just like really breathable, thin, kind of rolled up in there. You see that there's kind of a little like woodworking kit with like some little like whittled figures that are like a big crow or the ship, just kind of little things that it seems, someone was just kind of working on. But then you also see a folded up kind of browned piece of parchment in here.
Oh.
You pull it out and kind of look at it, and it looks to be a chart, like a travel sea chart. And as you look at it, it doesn't look familiar, especially to you that's traveled this area a lot, where it's noting islands and things don't seem to match up to exactly where you are. So it looks like some new adventure could be had in here.
I kind of like hold it up just to the group in general and say, is anyone more familiar with reading charts than I am? Because I can maybe parse this out, but it might be better for more seasoned hands.
Maybe we should all take a look.
Key is taking a little bite of the spores. Like she's just looking around, not really paying much attention.
Not even,
like
like,
they're really
statins or
chewy. It's like
anything?
nang nang.
Yeah.
It's what.
And then so when you bring it to notice, she's like, oh, and she's got like a mouthful of stuff. Just, yeah. Okay.
And I'll also mention there's like clothes and stuff too, if anyone wants any nice satins or anything like that.
She just scampers over there and just puts them on like her extra arms, just like sleeves, just pulls them up.
It looks good on you.
I like to think that the shirt itself is actually a little bit smaller than what you're formed to be. So as you like put it on, you just grow a little bit instead. So some of the spiders move so you can fit the shirt. His legs get a little longer instead.
Great.
Just very undulating. All right, Taryn, were you doing anything particular looking at this box?
Yeah, so I'm going to use my 2 scrutinize again, and 1 in Tides, Unearthing Secrets and Mysteries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Secret weird box. So I'm going to roll 3.
Okay.
And here we go. Not fantastic. That is a 4 is the highest.
Okay. So you're kind of looking at this just box in general, and it is interesting that it's metal. I think you kind of put that together, that maybe it was meant to hold something that was either heavier or more like valuable or breakable, or something that a normal wood crate didn't seem to be the fit. But it's just such a generic shape that it's like it could really be anything that this was kind of meant for.
See, the problem is there's a lot of triangles in the world. People have been talking a lot about wheels and doors, but there's so many pyramids and triangles. This could be anything.
Well, that's disappointing, but I guess you're right. I mean,
it's a cool box. I like the box.
I'll just like think of some random triangles I've seen, and I'm like, yeah, he's right.
A lot of triangles out there.
A lot of whatever the pyramid equivalent to this world is, like, yeah.
Some giant ziggurat.
Yeah.
Scales. Yeah, big old ziggurat.
Does Wildsea have an Illuminati? Like, the triangle.
You even been to, maybe that's where the map goes.
Oh no! Somebody read this map.
Yes.
It's not my problem anymore. I hand it off.
I think too at this point, for you, Key, as well. I'm just imagining these spider creatures have a bit more of a tuned-in hearing on some things. You're starting to hear a bit of that white noise, undulating noise, as well, that Taryn had picked up on. And I'd say that Shalyn too, after you're kind of looking through the map, maybe you kind of turn around, show everybody, and you see through the doorway a bit of that heat kind of radiating.
Nice. Is there something there?
You see it too?
I mean, I hear something, feel something.
I mean, there's like some heat coming from that area. I mean, that's the first I've seen of some kind of heat signature since we got here, and I don't think it was there a few minutes ago.
Should we go check it out?
I mean, yeah, right?
So I'll pull out my big like Jagsuri, like cutting implement, and like just like heft that and be ready. Like, okay, we're good. We're good to go.
I have a big like tomb hammer that I like.
Yeah.
Probably like I don't even know how I'm holding it anyway, so I'll probably just have it ready right now.
I have nothing, so I'm just gonna break off a piece of the wood from the box. But we're gonna just have one.
I get.
I'm ready.
So y'all kind of get ready and inch a little closer into this doorway that would be dark, probably pitch black.
Mm-hmm.
Had it not been for in kind of the center-ish of the room, not center in the room that it's like really conspicuous how centered it is. It's just like in there. That there is a purple light, a dark kind of purple light. It barely gives off, but it's like a night light, just enough. It almost looks like a little D8 kind of perfectly formed crystal that's just kind of rotating. And it's kind of in the vines and the wood that's kind of made its way in through the walls and like extra windows. It almost kind of sits nestled in it. None of it's fully touching it, but it's because it's just kind of levitating just barely over some of these vines and things that have made almost a cradle under it. It just rotates. Y'all can hear Terry, and you still see that like energy kind of coming out, and where it comes out, anywhere it kind of touches some of those vines, it kind of gets sucked into it. I think you even kind of notice with your two more plant-like friends that it even kind of goes and like gets a little sucked into some of the thorns and the flowers on them.
Oh.
No noticeable change, or anything, but it seems to be very much that energy is sucked in by the flora.
So Shalon doesn't really see that as much, but she definitely sees the heat signature, so she'll look to the rest of the group and just ask if, like, they want her to go first because it looks like it might have some heat to it, so, like, she wants to kind of protect them, and just, like, if you want to tell her about the purple aura, but right now she's kind of focused on, like, it might be really hot to touch, so she wants to make sure everyone's comfortable.
Actually, wait, it's doing weird energy stuff to plants. It might mess with your flowers.
Yeah, Key goes in front of her and kind of like says, wait, and then kind of pushes her back just a little bit, like a gentle push, and sees if the energy kind of stops based on how far or close.
Yeah, I mean, I think some little bits do still kind of make its way there, but it does seem that a lot of that energy just kind of now refocuses to either Quoben or a vine near to it.
Yeah, Quoben will back up if it seems like it's not safe to be here. He'll kind of like take like two big steps back. It's like, looking in the room, does it look like there's any like vegetation that has like smeared along the ground or died here?
You kind of look around, your senses now kind of focusing to this energy, this heat, this sound, this darkness, and you're able to get a little bit better of a view. And it seems like the only kind of plant life here is just what is a part of the forest that's made its way in. I will say you probably do notice though that the trees and the vines here are much darker. It almost seems like it's a little more withered, a little more, I don't know, not even like, I don't think they even look necessarily like withered or crisp, but just changed, you know. You
When we
do
came,
I would say, well,
just when
that you do notice in the vines, kind of in the further back part of the room, you do see one skeletal hand that kind of goes into like a little bit of a body that it looks like some of the vines have grown over.
does it look similar to what we saw, like the red stuff that we saw coming in?
Yes, but even deeper and darker. So it's almost like it's leaching out from here. I guess it's almost like ombre throughout.
This is like a purplish, almost dark.
Mm-hmm.
I'll point out the skeletal hand to my two braver friends that are less impacted by this by this effect.
Yeah, definitely just stay just a little bit further back, and we'll maybe do a perimeter, see if there's anything around. We'll go check out the hand. Right, Turn?
Yep, good plan.
You
Do we feel any significant differences? Like, do we feel weaker or anything if we are looking at it?
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
This is scary. This is not okay.
And then he starts again. But I think, you know, if you kind of test it, get a little closer, whatever. I don't think you necessarily feel different. You don't feel weaker or anything like that. I would say with your kind of heat that you're noticing, it's not like hot, you know. It's just kind of warm energy is happening. And I think maybe that is more of what you kind of feel now that you've kind of tuned into what's happening, that you can kind of feel a little bit of just like that warmth kind of washing over you. But it's no noticeable difference immediately.
Okay. Cool. Okay. As long as it's not like we're sitting there for a long period of time and all of a sudden we're just like withering away. So.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll stand back and kind of see what they, like, if they alert us to anything.
Okay. Taryn and Key, y'all kind of scoot around the room, kind of stepping over some of these branches and vines that have grown into this area, and get over to this body, and you're able to kind of start pulling some of the vines to the side, and it looks long dead, but still has, you know, some human but still has some, you know, kind of bits, almost like the skin and some hair and stuff, just very much like Goonies dead body. You know, like it's been dead for a while, but not so long dead that everything is decomposed or gone, you know. But you do, I would say, Key, you first notice that this body is in a you know, some tattered kind of clothes, just kind of moth bitten with age, but is nearly identical to the one that you just put on. And that it seems like you don't see any noticeable stab wounds or fusses, like fights, tussles or anything. It's just like kind of just like someone was just sitting there and then the plants kind of overtook.
Do the clothes have pockets?
Sure.
Anything you can tell us who he was or who they were?
Yeah. So I think you kind of start digging through, and For the most part, it's pretty empty, with the exception that you find under the shirt there is a kind of a rope necklace that at the end has a kind of just a piece of wood, like, a branch that you just kind of chop, that has burned into it a symbol. And the symbol is it kind of looks like a bow with a knocked arrow, and then like a sun behind that, like a little sunburst.
We're taking that. He just kind of does it, or takes it off his head, and then wraps it around one of her arms. Taryn, do you see anything?
Kind of seeing the same general view. I think you maybe kind of do put two and two together now, seeing the shirt, realizing this guy probably had that stuff, that box. Oh, the bottom of that's kind of pyramid shaped, with that floating crystal.
This crystal is a series of triangles. Let's see if it fits in that box.
Yeah, we'll shout
You're
that.
Really, triangles are on the brain, and you're like, oh,
triangles.
Like 8 triangles.
3 sides. It's got 3 sides and a point. No, 3 points, not just one.
We'll love it. Yeah. So yeah, you want to just kind of plop her in there? Yeah, I think it's levitating a bit, but you kind of try to angle the box to scoop it up a bit, but yeah, you kind of have to, I don't know if you touch it or use some branches to kind of push it, but it almost like glides, like it keeps. Once it gets out of that cradle, it kind of dips a little bit. It's almost like a helium balloon, but that's just lost a little bit of it, and it just kind of floats enough. And you're able to kind of push it down, lift the box up, put the lid on, and immediately the room is pitch black. The sound is gone, the heat is gone, the light is gone.
Ooh, guys,
you've done it. It's good.
Are we able to see this from the hallway?
Yeah. So you can kind of like peek through, and see that.
I'll like shout to Tara, like, I knew I asked a good person to figure out what was in that box.
Yes. It's all about the triangles, man.
It's all about the triangles. We gotta follow the triangles.
But now it's pitch black, like we can't see anything.
I say y'all standing down can like see the light from the doorway. It's just enough, but there's no light in this room, and it just goes into the darkness here.
I think whoever was like by the deserts. This was a good find, a good haul. That is gonna fetch us a good bit of coin. But I think only one of us can see clearly at this point, so I don't.
Yeah, is that the end of our little?
Salon, why don't you lead us further in?
Further in?
Of course.
Well, say that room that you were kind of in, a lot of those vines and stuff seem to have kind of taken over the rest of what was in this like chunk of building. So if you want to spend some time and actually like tear through and try and find another, you're more than welcome to. But it seems a lot of this is forest taken over.
I mean, I'll say that I'll definitely guide if someone's willing to hack away, but
happy to.
Right now, I don't see any other heat signatures in the room other than like maybe a little bit coming from the box.
Yeah, it's like that. So the box kind of keeps it all contained, but seeing as probably an old seal and the lock isn't quite on it, there's just like a little bit kind of
like
leaking out the side. Yeah, it's like just
also
enough of that energy that it just kind of dies off like a dry ice.
Cool. And also, I'm assuming I can see the heat signatures of my crewmate too. I'm guessing, so I can like see where everyone is in the room pretty easily. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we wanna, if anyone, I can like point in the right direction or like kind of like guide if you guys really can't see to the area where there's some vines if we want to try to hack through some more.
I think Taryn is 100% on the this will be enough for Kalanch, and I have done my drawing duties.
Yeah, I mean, you're
with
not holding
Thresh.
a box like this big.
That's fair.
Like, you're just like.
You're like, I've done the job. I get to go back now, right?
Yeah. We found the thing. Let's take it to the captain.
Okay.
And
I like. Then if that's the case, then watch your step, and I'll kind of like guide everybody through like talking a little bit until they can see more sunlight to be able to walk the rest of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you kind of grab hands, pull out a little bit. I think too, as you all start to kind of gather back to where you can see a little bit of the sunlight through that doorway, you do notice that it is a little darker. It's midday, so it looks like it's just a little cloudy, which is semi unusual. I mean, you got trees, you still got the water circle going a bit with what water can happen here. But it is unusual. And I think even as y'all get up into this area, you do hear Ennis kind of yelling like, did you find anything? It's starting to get a little windy, a little dark.
some cool triangles down there.
Lots of
Oh, I
trying.
do love a triangle.
Good.
A lot
We
better
have
than those regular old squares.
Yeah, really.
It's too many sides. Okay,
Mhm.
3 is good enough. I think the
I
captain's
like
gonna like it.
circles. It's one side, you know.
Oh, circles are good.
But there's no corners. Like there's no pointy ends. It's just
so much
speaking
geometry.
speaking as a cactus person, like I kind of like a good pointy edge here and there.
You're not wrong. Yeah, and I think that you essentially get just kind of the usual of just some sort of box or bag that he kind of like throws in that's attached to a rope, you know, the usual for just like throw what you need in there, like the haul of getting it out of the dig site here. Um but yeah, y'all are more than welcome to kind of throw your things in, climb back out, get on the boat, and you do see now that the trees are blowing in this wind, and it is much more that undulating sea feel with the wind blowing in, and uh and it's kind of like hits the engine a couple of times and then just looks over at Shalon like, can you make it? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Does the funds like it just works only when you do it kind of thing. And starts to kind of steer back towards the ship. It wasn't too long, so just a little bit away. But you see there is quite a bit of activity as everyone is starting to kind of gather up some things, batten down the hatches or whatever. I don't know words. I don't even know if I said those right. But getting
they're
ready for some storm.
They're chainsaw ships. Like how
That's
gentle a
true.
ride
Gotta
could this
start
be?
pulling.
Yeah, it's not gonna be great.
Pulling the
It's
cord,
more
yeah.
like yeah,
Mhm.
making sure things don't fall off the ship is what's happening currently in the wind. Because hey, guess what? There's not many wind breaks when you're above the trees. So it's a little hard. But y'all are able to kind of get everything. The dinghy gets back in, and you kind of walk up. We'll say there's like a little captain's quarters of sorts. That's more of like a debrief room that is near the actual helm and mechanical driving part of the ship that pretty much as soon as y'all get on, it is kind of going. It seems, or I'd say even as you walk in, the captain's like, it looks like there's something rolling in. We're gonna try and get to Foxloft as quick as possible. But did you find what we needed?
We
Anything,
got
I guess.
we got something. We don't really know what it is, but it seems dangerous and shiny, so it should fetch us enough money, right? And a
And
nice
some
box as well.
yeah, and some
box.
textiles, yes, some silks.
Yeah, some of
Okay.
these.
Well, if
Surrounds
Keith
them.
doesn't want to wear them.
Oh, right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, we get to keep stuff that we find too. We don't have to sell everything. So if there's anything we
see how
like,
much.
Yeah, you have like a list of things that it's like you have to turn in, and it's like certain types of like if you find like any sort of weird ores or thing, like stuff that can be repurposed really easily, where it's like shirts and necklaces, like if you want to sell it when you get to port to someone who has the money and wants silk, cool. But Captain's not worried about it. But he is kind of has his head cocked to the side, looking in no eyes, but head in the direction of Taryn in this like big box.
But Captain, you might want to be a bit careful when you open it, because it was kind of like, what was it? And he kind of looks to her friends. She's like, it kind of like drew in energy or something. It turned everything around it pretty dead. So just
It
be
likes
careful.
plants.
didn't seem really safe for me and Colbin to be around.
So definitely not you,
No.
Captain.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, we'll maybe we lock that up in here instead of the usual cargo bay then. See if we can get some sort of appraisal in town or in port.
Good idea. Mm-hmm.
You got it.
And while this is happening, he's very much just like multitasking and kind of talking to y'all and steering and pushing buttons, pulling levers, making it all go. You've had to kind of start yelling over just the extremely loud engine and chainsaws just cutting through all of this wood. And y'all kind of come up on this little bit of a wave that had unearthed these ruins and get back to the normal kind of level of the sea. And when you do, the wind is very noticeable. I mean, y'all are kind of inside, but you can see immediately any piece of rope, any free thing on the ship is flying off. That it was definitely needed to be uh all taken care of. Yeah. Yeah. And you now get this good view of these clouds kind of rolling in. And you can see now where this line of clouds are, and there's this pouring down rain that is kind of coming your direction as the captain's starting to turn the ship around to Foxloft, which is in the opposite direction, thankfully, of this storm. But it is very quick coming, and you can see, like I said, this rain kind of falling down and shoots of lightning going off in different directions. And then you hear thunder. And it is like a unbelievably loud rumble for as far away as the storm seems. And for a moment, through this lightning strike and these clouds and this rain, you see up in the sky, flying, just the front of what seems to be a monstrous face through the clouds and the rain. It looks like a shark, kind of. And this face then has all these jagged points that come down the bottom of its jaw. And it has these big horns that kind of come out of the side of the head and push forward. And you can see it's kind of like moving like it's flying. And when these sparks of lightning happen, you now see them coming off of this creature into the clouds and then down as it's quickly coming y'all's direction.
Quick question,
Mhm.
because I have a drive that might come in handy here. Would I understand this to be a Leviathan plant encounter?
A Leviathan animal.
Ah, damn. Okay, cool. Never mind. I just
We'll
wanted.
we'll double check on the plant versus animal, but I'm thinking more.
Okay, yeah, yep. Because I have a drive to survive. Just survive. a Leviathan
you know,
plant encounter.
I'm gonna say you still have that same drive with a Leviathan encounter in general.
Sweet. Yeah. All right. Good.
I'm gonna.
Then yeah,
Uh,
definitely like all of my little like like cactus tines spikes start to bristle, and like
like
he's
little
like,
porcupine.
like we just hear him like grumble under his breath, like, "By the deserts, it's a Leviathan. Ready yourselves!" As he like hefts his big like I don't know crazy sword thing that I picked up out of the character creation.
Well, that is where we'll go to break for a second.
Okay.
Ready yourselves, everybody, as we'll take, I think it's like a 10-ish minute break, whatever the usual Lost Caravan is. Just long enough to go get you a drink, and we'll be back. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Raiders. Thank you, Chaotic Wonderful, for coming and hanging out with us. We're playing Wildsea, which is a wonderful new TTRPG that you can get the quick start on Kickstarter right now. Maybe pre-order. I think you can still pre-order it. It looks beautiful. Our group of sailors here. Wait, you have an official name. Wind Sailor, because this is a world in which they are sailors on massive treetops because the world has been taken over by just greenery, and your ships are giant chainsaw ships that make your way through. And currently our crew has delved into some ruins and found a very odd mystical item full of triangles and emitting weird plant matter energy. It was very weird, but thankfully they found a box that fit all the triangles that has dampened some of that energy, so we're good. But not good. You got on the ship as a storm was coming. The captain is turning the ship around to head back towards Box Loft Reach, where you look back at this storm, and it is very dark. You could hear the thunder emanating louder than you've heard thunder probably ever. I said probably ever. Again, we're at the treetops. There's no wind breaks, and that thunder, that sound travels. It's probably always loud, let's be honest. But through the cracks of lightning in this area that you're in that's still not fully covered in the rainfall or the clouds, you were able to spot a large creature flying in this storm. And the more you notice, the lightning was popping off of this creature, and it seems like it is bringing the storm itself as this large shark-like leviathan is floating through the sky. It has all these spikes on its chin and these big horns as it just kind of lumbers through the sky. One second. Let me make my track or clock real quick, seeing as you filled up the first one, which was the Leviathan shows up. Yeah. You did it, guys.
Wait, you mean that could have happened while we were in the like down below in the forest?
Yeah, if you would have kept getting through, that would have been bad.
That would have been awful. I'm so glad you all talked me out of
We
this.
were in an area where I was the only person that could see for a little bit.
I mean,
it was about to get real dark.
Sometimes you just keep digging, you know? Just keep digging. Keep digging.
Alrighty. So.
Story was singing about, I don't think.
First off, so the captain is technically behind the helm here, but you all are very knowledgeable in your ship, in your own abilities, and how to kind of go through this. You are a very well-oiled machine, whether you were on the roster for the day or not. You know how to do your jobs. And so what would you all like to do as you are all trying to now just kind of kick it into high gear? The wind is blowing very, very heavily. You still see people are walking about outside, so it's not so heavy that it's toppling you over. It's more toppling unbattened things. But you can do whatever it is that you wish, that you think would maybe protect yourselves, speed up the ship, kind of whatever feels right in this moment. That all long-winded to say, if you want to push a turbo button or tell the captain to do something, you can also invoke some of your ship's trackers there as well, which will essentially give you another d6.
I feel like instinctually the first thing Shalon would do is kind of like almost like I can't remember the word for it, but like when you're like working in an office and like there's an emergency and there's like somebody that's like designated to be like that specific person that has the emergency plan. Like I don't know, I don't remember what it's called, but I feel like she would like try to take on that. Like, okay, guys, like we're all gonna go over here. Everyone meet by the flagpole. We're all gonna like
Hall monitor.
You just pull out the clipboard.
Hall monitor.
Yeah, hall monitor. Yeah, like she's just like, okay, everybody, the safest place. If you don't have anything you need to be doing right now, the safest place is over here. And she's like directing people. Like if she can find an orange vest somewhere, she'd be doing that.
Yes.
I love it.
I can't imagine that's actually happening, but you know, like she's still like trying to direct people. She's like going into autopilot, like you over here, you over there, trying to direct people, trying to help people if anyone seems confused.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll allow that to just mechanically if any of y'all are doing something in this turn, you'll be able to add that advantage die as Shalon's basically getting the rest of the crew orientated, getting y'all in the places you need to be.
Okay. I think Taryn takes the first opportunity to go below decks and be with the machines he so desperately loves. And so I'm going to be in like the engine area, making sure everything is looking good, nothing's broken, and that we have our best saw forward.
Okay. Are you wanting to maybe use this as an opportunity to roll your action with whatever you can and kind of add in either the saw's action or box there with your ship to be able to just try and get it going as smoothly as possible?
Yeah, let's so I think Taryn is generally tasked with maintenance, and so there are a few quick things that he knows need to be done to get the engines running best. So I'm gonna run with tides, and then I have 2 in repair. So unless.
And then you can add another with Shalon, just essentially make sure everyone's where they need to be, so you'll have help even from other crew.
All right, so I'm going to roll 4d6.
Oh.
We have a 5.
Okay. Oh, nope, wrong one right there. Okay, so as you are kind of down there, you're making sure everything is tuned to the right setting, well oiled where it needs to be, gas, kind of just making sure that all of this is kind of going in the way that it actively needs to be going currently. And hold on 1 second. See, it says, and make a and mark the damage to the rating. Hold on, what was the rating?
What was the rating?
That's 21. I should probably know that. The ship. Progress risk. Progress helm. Got path. Got that. Ratings. Every ship has a set of ratings track representing the ship's condition. Okay. Oh, okay. That was the saw. So we're good. I was doing it. I just wasn't quite sure that was what it was actually called. Okay. So the ratings are going to be your armor, seal, speed, saw, stealth, tilt. So anything you do with the ship, it'll affect one of those ratings if it says so here, which this one will, as You have a 5, but it's okay. You bypass this obstacle. So essentially, as you are going, I mean, this section of the forest that you're in is weird and twisted. I mean, you saw it up close and personal with even this orb or triangular double pyramid of magic. But it's this wood too is, like I said, with it being so twisted and so knotty, it is a lot harder to kind of get through, especially in some of these sections where it has grown so tight, because a lot of the tree, there isn't a lot of leaf, it's a lot of trunk, and so it's just going a little slower. You're able to get down there and kind of tune it in to get it going a speed that you are accustomed to, with sacrificing a little bit of that durability in those saws to just push them to their limit, to get them to kind of get through this and hopefully get y'all back to some normal seascape. Which is fine. So at least the saws is the heftiest of markers on y'all's ratings here on your ship. Okay. Between Quoven and Key, anything y'all would like to do in this first little leg of running away?
Key really doesn't have much to contribute, so she's kind of just trying to pack away all the belongings, trying to make sure that everything's like stuck in the right place and safe so that nothing falls out, and just scattering where people need her. So if she's like, oh, do you need help, I'll try to help, and then kind of
So, okay,
so I'll give advantage to whoever does anything as well.
Perfect.
I think that so just, I want to know, is it reasonable for my character to like use like continue to cut a path for the ship? Does the ship kind of cuts its own path, but is there like a benefit to me jumping out and like doing some additional hacking on the stuff in front of us to like help the ship through these problems? Because like my like occupation or whatever is hacker, so I feel like I want to try and do that here if possible to help get us away from this beastly leviathan emerging from the clouds to take
I would
our
say
shiny rock from us.
Yes. I would say I would allow it, instead of maybe you actively going up there and hacking, you are more looking at the tree cover and directing the captain to a better path. You know, seeing like, oh, this looks super forested, whereas this is a little more barren. Let's kind of go through this section. You know, you're able to see the hackable areas.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I love that. How about we stick on some, would it be all right to do a little bit of iron here as one of my edges? So like iron and hacking?
I mean, you
kosher?
tell me. What is iron?
Determination and willpower, through tense situations. That kind of thing.
All three of those apply, so yeah.
Okay, cool.
Fully.
Yeah.
You're very determined.
Yeah. And I have the drive. I wish I could get dice for like, I could maybe survive. I have it like written on the thing. But okay.
Yeah.
So what is that? That's 3, 4 d6, right?
You'll get 2 from helping, so you'll get both of the advantage die.
Okay. Thank you.
And since you've now had 2 people kind of using their turn to help everyone.
Yeah. Okay. And then my skill is a 3, and then the edge is another 1, right? So that's like 6.
Oh, nice! Get him the whole max die.
Dang! All right, kids, let's go. That is okay. I got a 6, and I got double 1s, so I feel like that's a thing.
Go.
6 with the twist.
Ooh, and double 3s. I got double.
So many doubles.
I don't know if that matters.
What does that mean?
When you roll 6 dice, things happen.
It's a super twist.
So good.
All right. So you triumph. You are able to bypass the obstacles safely. And I think this twist that I'm going to include is essentially, there was going to be one more stage of what we're in. We're going to skip to the next one, as this twist has gotten here a little earlier. As you are cutting through these obstacles, you're able to see a big chunk of where it is just that gnarled trunk off to one side that's almost starting to kind of come up in more of a tower, and you're able to skirt along it, and you're finding a section that the leaves are looking a little bit lighter in color. They're less of that dark. They're starting to get a little bit more of green and orange and gold hues into them as you're getting kind of further and further away from where y'all had previously been. And you're able to kind of follow that almost like a river of keeping on those fresher leaves, which means now that bark below it is more akin to what you're used to. And you're starting to, get into a good groove as you happen to just look back. We'll say this deck area here by the captain is kind of a 360 window kind of situation of where you can see all around you as you're piloting this. You see out of the kind of swatch that y'all are making into this tree section comes what almost looks like a submarine directly into the back of this area that has now become a little bit freer. And you see out of the front of the submarine 2 like little harpoons come shooting out and embed into the wood of the deck. Y'all don't slow down. You've had enough momentum and everything, but it's almost like pulling this kind of in tandem as you see the lid pop open of this hatch here, and some people start kind of coming out. You all know of the pirates that roam these seas. And these
better.
The front of this submarine is painted in a similar way as the Leviathan.
No!
So it looks almost like the jaw is the front of this submarine.
No! Okay.
As they pop out.
As Coben is giving up his turn, or as his turn is ending, right? I think, okay, we've already established that Key, you have like spiders on Coben, like maybe kind of often, right? And I went ahead and took the mire that insects seek my skin. So like it's like a thing. And so
cool.
Yeah, and so he whispers to the spider for you to like relay to the captains, like pirates ho, port side, or whatever, like as he's like gets ready for the next thing, and then we'll find out what everybody else is doing. But I want there to be this like moment where he's like communicating to your spiders and therefore to you and therefore the like that's how the ship is connected, is you have spread yourself out to all the people who need to know what's up. That'll be fun.
And then on the deck, Key is kind of just running around saying, there's pirates with the Leviathan, pirates. Let's go.
Perfect.
The captain just like pulls up the window and like sticks his ear out and he's like, oh shit, okay. And like closes it now, like hearing the yelling.
He closes it and like locks it from the inside, and we're like, dude.
Yeah, he just walks over and locks the door, ducks down below the glass. Nah, he's in it. He's rough and tumble. All right.
Okay, wait, that's actually a really good way to use a mire, by the way. I was thinking that mires were going to be like really, really bad, but like, okay.
You gotta find. I didn't pick that until like I was still building my character when we started, and then when Key you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. That's perfect. They're like on me all the time. I just have to be okay with that.
I love it.
Question: what does the fact that one of my mires is the open sky is wide and oppressive have to do with any of this right now? Should I just pretend I never said that?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're being honest, the sky's getting less open with the cloud cover.
But more oppressive with the Leviathan.
Right now, I'm like,
it's like I feel the same amount of discomfort, which is
but
concerning.
It's not because there's too much, it's because there's too many things right in my face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. All right. Everybody, you are free to do what you wish in this round. There's not real initiatives, not real kind of roles from my baddies, but they are starting. We'll say there are 3 of these pirates that have started to walk out, and you see that they have these kind of hooks in their hand. Pirates, maybe it's like a little mechanical thing, and it looks like a pirate hook. I mean, they still have normal hands. Looks like a pirate hook, but then they basically rappel on this rope that the harpoon is made towards your boat. So they're starting to come your direction. You can choose to act once they land or before, depending on what y'all would wish to do in this situation.
Does anyone have any hacking abilities to get rid of the things they just attached to
I'm
us?
gonna work on that. Thank you. I'm gonna work on that. Yes, that's I'm doing that one.
Cool. What was your first question, David?
I was just gonna be like, are these guys seriously like Mary Poppins style, like umbrella riding on this rope?
Y'all. In the middle of the storm. Yes. Yeah. So they're just sliding down.
So Coben like walks up, and is like, "Not today, Mary Poppins," as he like hacks on the rope.
Alright. I love it. Okay, so you decide what all you need to roll here real quick. There are 2 ropes.
Then I'm only doing one. I'm only doing
You're
one.
only doing one.
Yep.
Because
Sort of
2
go
are gonna
twice.
have to go down one rope, and one's gonna have to go down the other. Feasibly.
I'll do the one that's 2 on it. Hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to decide if it would be a by chance thing, but you're watching them coming. I think you have time to be like, oh, this has more people.
There's some risk here, right? Because if I don't cut it, I have 2 people on me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So is there there's you can do something here to make it.
That's kind of what I was thinking with this, is that I think that this, if you want, we can do, it is definitely going to be a bit more on the dangerous side.
Answer's yes.
Because I was thinking just in general with the storm and the wind and you're running up and this chaos and everything, I was already going to do 1 cut because it's just a lot going on. But if you wanted to bump it to 2 cuts, maybe you would have high risk, high reward.
Yes. 1000%.
That's one of those fun things that you can trade in here and add some extras if you want to make it real cool.
Yeah. I love this. Yeah. So let's throw Coben at this problem and see what happens to poor Coben in a second.
Okay.
So all right. So I'm definitely gonna go with iron again because it's combat-y stuff, right? And then 3 hack, and then isn't there something else I get to add? Like maybe a piece of equipment.
Yeah. If you have an equipment that helps, I mean.
Yeah. So I have that big sawtooth thing that we get, the jagsuri. The big hacking implement.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think that's 4.
It can cut trees. I'm sure it can cut rope.
Right. So that's 4, but I got 2 cuts, right?
Yeah.
So I'm down to 2.
Yep.
Done. Beautiful. I love it.
All
Let's
right,
see.
let's
see how this goes.
Let's go.
That's a 6. That's a 6. And it's 3. Put a 6 on the die. Let's go.
Look, this game today, the dice love y'all for this game today. Unfortunately.
We haven't dealt with the big problem, so I'm happy to have 1 little win.
Zip lining over it's
That's the small
the
problem.
Leviathan.
Yeah. All right. So you are running up, yelling into these spiders that there is a pirate attack happening now, and grabbing your little thing off your back, or probably back. It's so big, I don't think it could fit on your side.
Yeah, I don't know. Do I just pull it off of my tactile body? Who knows?
You just have some little spikes that
Yeah, maybe it's the trees that grow around things pull it out.
It looks like you until it's out. And you're like, oh, weird.
Perfect.
You yank this out of your chest real quick.
We gotta lean into this. We gotta lean into everything that we get out of these characters. So yeah.
I like to think that you always have what looks to be a baton just on your thing. So it's you take off apart and then screw the handle in. You're like, okay.
Yes. Perfect.
It's a two-part, so you're like yelling and screwing in your baton. You're running down the ship. The wind's blowing you. You're kind of getting tossed to the side a little bit and kind of skidding as it just naturally kind of tilts with the weather. And just slide up and just come down on this rope and kind of pull to catch it in one of those little teeth and just pop
Ooh,
it
and there's
off.
like this moment, and the rope is like only attached to the jackstory or whatever. I'm looking at the two guys coming over, and I was like, "Not today!" And then like, swoosh, and they all go falling.
You nod today and you swish it. When they're in that empty space between the submarine and your ship, so they fall into the trees, not able to grab hold of anything, not able to land early on their submarine, and you hear. You can't really tell. A couple are a little shorter, that may be more like humanoid, but they all have kind of these goggles on, these heavy masks, some hoods or hats, like they're in like full assault mode. But you hear the screams as one kind of echoes, disappearing, and the other kind of splats on the front of the submarine, and there's some like green goop that just kind of like a bug.
And the chainsaw bit of the submarine probably does something nasty. That's great.
Yeah, it's not great. As the other one then slides down, and you had a 6 and high risk, high reward. The normal reward would be the 2 died. I think the third one then hits, very confused by what's happening, and kind of stumbles and rolls onto, so is put off a bit. That this round is not immediately attacking you as he's kind of landed and
it's good. It's good that I have 3 friends nearby, right, guys?
Oh, one's down below. You got 2 nearby.
two friends nearby.
So he sees this, and he's gonna run skitter up to Corbin to help, and I don't know if I could hear what language the people were like yelling in.
It was more just so no real words. Maybe there was like an oh shit in a general common tongue.
Okay, because then I would just kind of try to manipulate them, kind of like just say like, you guys don't want to mess with this ship, but in any language that they know. So I'm not really too sure.
Yeah, it was like kind of. I don't know if there's like specific or if there's like a more common, but in this area that you have traveled is going to be a same similar, just day-to-day language. Obviously, every region has their own, so they'd be able to kind of get what you're saying.
I'm trying to intimidate them, and because one of my admirers is my movements are staccato, disturbing, so I just kind of like jump around.
Yeah, they are.
You don't want to mess with us. Just let us go.
I knew my character liked you. I know that David is deeply disturbed. This is very good. It's like just
that's when you make a good character.
Staccato. Yeah, it's like the players are disturbed, the characters are into it. It's good.
Yeah. Alrighty. So yeah, what all you putting into play?
Veils, because then it says to manipulate others in both social and combat situations.
Absolutely.
And then I also have outwit.
Okay.
That also like skill, the skill outwit. So
yeah,
3, 2, 3. No,
How many points do you have it? So you'll have 1 for the edge. How many points do you have in the outfit?
Just 1.
1. So that's 2 total right now. And then if you have any sort of item or thing that maybe I would almost say just your general mannerisms, and your body is kind of an item. If we're gonna be the outer part of it is kind of an item.
Like I'm just like the skin is kind of just like moving around, like kind of trying to make itself look bigger and smaller. Kind of.
Yeah, just really like rolled over on the ground, like the rain starting to finally reach y'all now, so you can feel just like the rain kind of trickling. There is one guy on your crew that is watching all this in horror, but is like putting out the rain buckets. It's like, okay, we're gonna just. Oh no.
Shalon will just be like, Paul, chill, it's fine.
It's out of water.
You've never seen a bag of skin with a bunch of bugs inside? What's wrong with you, Paul?
gotta be inclusive of all the crew members, Paul. Come on.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll with 4d6. I'm not going to put any cuts since you're not trying to do some heavy maneuver in this not great situation.
6, 4, 3, 5. So 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, that's gonna be something. We
Very
should
nice.
add a straight option.
Add all the
What
poker.
happens when you get a straight? Yeah, let's just add a full house.
Yeah,
We'll put them
Yahtzee.
all in there.
Roll a Yahtzee. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think with the 6, this guy is on the ground, already a little thrown off on 1, just a scavenger ship fighting back. 2 of his buddies being the recipient of that fighting back. Yeah. That he's very quickly, you see him like kind of stumbling backwards over, and you see him grab the harpoon and the deck and simply push a button on the top of it, and it comes out from the deck.
That's all it would have taken? I just had to press a button?
And he starts to like be pulled back. It looks like that is like releasing this like mechanism.
As he goes, I'll yell, "Tell them to get rid of the Leviathan too." Please.
Like,
I mean, do it.
we don't know how to talk to him. So you start to like pull away.
Just start waving.
That's very good information. They're not in communication. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, you're not gonna have like the lightning shot down, like pointed.
Had to
All
try.
right. All right. So you currently have 2 guys very dead. 1 guy terrified. The even with the harpoon being out, it looks like this submarine is still in chase. It's not like whoever is inside is scared of you. They don't know what's going on and they're still following you. As you are now getting back into this easier, I would say, Taryn, you're starting to notice, 1, the captain is yelling over the intercom system that there's pirates and a giant Leviathan in the sky. And oh God, this is so bad. Everyone do what you can. Like, he's not very professional. He doesn't keep it together very well. But you're starting to feel... Yeah, you're starting to feel that we're hitting normal trees again.
Okay.
That's why Shalon is here. She's our disaster manager. She has a cool head while the captain freaks out and vomits in the corner. Not the cactus vomit.
The door.
Just
I'll be
expulses
the
all
real
his
captain
spikes.
one day.
Yeah. The whole crew sees it. The whole crew sees it.
You see that, like, the little like bits of his kind of harder aloe vera side are starting to even like kind of crinkle, like when you lose a little water. Like, he's getting a little distressed.
Little aloe vera puddle on the ground.
Well, technically, aloe vera, like the inside part, is actually really helpful. So if anyone needs it to like cure something, he's also got just like 2 purposes, right?
He just has to sacrifice himself, right?
There is a thing.
That's not how I want to get the job.
Yeah, there is a healing thing with it.
There is an aspect where like you can secrete like a healing thing. That's what he has.
Yeah,
That's what he's got.
It's literally
He just
aloe
never
vera.
uses
It's
it
the real
properly.
ramification of it.
Love it. Alrighty, so Taryn and Shalon, what would you 2 like to do? As you now know what's going on. There's still someone in pursuit. The Leviathan is getting close enough now that there's rain hitting the ship, but you have started to hit more of those green and gold normal leaves that the engine seems to be not fighting as much as you were.
Is the submarine still in pursuit of us, I'm guessing?
Yes.
I have an aspect called Wild Words, which lets me remember a rumor or folktale pertinent to your situation. Is there anything that I know that would be really helpful in this like situation with these specific pirates? Like, are they searching for something in particular, maybe? Like, is there any way to help deal with them?
And that is a aspect?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. I think like aspects you kind of just can, right?
It's a 3-track trait, so I don't know if that means that I have to like cross something off to use it.
like in Blades, that's how it is. Like you mark it once, and then that gives you like either a plus die, or it lets you even attempt the thing in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Right, like sometimes you can't even attempt it unless you have the aspect that lets you attempt it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on the aspects, you see how you have those little dots next to the aspect on the character sheets? That is your track.
Okay.
So
and
I don't
just
know if you
this
have
in,
to
like,
a lot.
Google Doc, but I'll just like
That's
type
fine.
out like 1 out of 3 marked or something.
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
that. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Matt. We'll probably have those first. Yeah, so we'll assume you've got everyone's got at least, if it's a 3, you can only really use it once because the track only goes to 5 anyway. So we'll just kind of assume on these aspects until we know better that you've got the whole track. Y'all are seasoned, you know?
Awesome.
So yeah, you'll just essentially, if you were playing, you would kind of mark the 3 bubbles that they have been used within that aspect. But yeah, so you have the ability to do that. You do that. You are kind of looking at this, thinking back, just kind of sitting there and trying to drone all the noise out and just think. What do I know about this? What do I know about this? You have heard that rumors of a crew that very not creatively call themselves the Leviathans. And it is a nomadic group, a pirate group that has kind of made some waves in certain areas that are more prone to storms and such, probably because there's a big Leviathan around. That they essentially use the panic and the destruction caused by the Leviathan to try and swoop in and make it easier for them to steal from people.
Okay. So would it be safe to assume that if I were to try to alert the crew to try to avoid the Leviathan and like maybe even dive a little bit below the tree line more than we're used to, then maybe we might be able to like escape them kind of thing? Like, you know, if you know, we're really high up above the trees, then obviously there's no windbreak, we get like the full exposure of lightning, but if we go kind of below, then maybe that might bring us back to more normal operating conditions, and that might...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I will also say, since you do have some knowledge, this giant, huge spined flying beast is called a Iron Jaw Ray.
Okay.
And this is the specific type of Leviathan-esque creature that these guys follow. So it's technically Iron Jaw Ray. They're being a little creative, but not really.
All right,
But,
so the Leviathans are following a Leviathan called an Iron Jaw Ray. And they're obviously very, very capable of, you know, just being good robbers. You know, they don't need any kind of ruse. They can just rob right on their own terms. So I'll relay that information to the captain, and also I don't have the same mire as Quobin, so I don't know if I can really use the spiders in the same way as him. But I'll definitely try to see if I can find either Key or Taryn to kind of relay that information to see if they can help me spread it, because I also didn't see how Quobin sent it, so I'll kind of just assume like, oh, okay, he like told them and then they sent out the information. So
yeah, you could even, if you want to kind of yell down to Key on the deck, or even if you're still there with the captain, you can just kind of take the intercom from him as he's babbling about just being scared. Just be like,
this is the real captain speaking.
Hi, everybody, don't worry. Here's what's happening.
Back at Cora's mind, like, cool, we're gonna mutiny at the end of this. Got it. Figured that one out.
Okay, so yeah, so I will, I'll kind of, like, Kalanch will be sitting there trying to, you know, ramble on, and I'll be like, I'll just kind of put my hand on his shoulder, like, just give me a second. Take the intercom. Everybody, we're going to operate under a certain protocol, whatever. I'm assuming there's a cool name for, like, dipping beneath the trees. I'm assuming I know the name of it. I don't... I don't have the capacity to be creative right now. But
What's the top? It's like the canopy.
yeah,
right?
there's
the thrash. The tangle is the next
tangle.
layer.
So Operation Tangle, like we're going to go below. These pirates seem to think that they can just use cover of this Iron Jaw ray to manipulate us, and we are going to get ahead of them, and we're going to go down into the tangle. And
that's what we're gonna do, guys.
Official captain, like seal of approval, like just get him to be like, yes. listen to Shallan.
It looks like he's like biting fingers, and it's just more of this withered. Like... Alrighty. So, Taryn, Key, you now have this info. Taryn, maybe first, since you're more in control of what the ship is doing here. What's your feel on that?
So I picked a whisper. It just says locomotive power. Can I use that to grant me advantage on, in addition to my skill rank, for adding to speed? So we know the saws can handle this type of wood. We are, I think I will pull out like an experimental, thruster, whatever, that I can just jam on the engine. So I'm gonna do tides to repair, locomotive power, and
I will, since Shallan was also just kind of used her turn to think and direct, we could use that again on if you wanted a additional advantage of the two. Mm-hmm.
Quality leadership goes so far.
It really does,
This captain is gonna get yeeted off this boat. He's not gonna make it.
All right.
I'm secretly making buttons that say "Vote Shallan for new captain."
The wooden cat buttons.
Yeah. I'm carving each one individually, so you know I'm legit.
Cry. That's too cute.
With your little like cactus,
little feathers,
cactus
little
needles.
Flowers. Yeah, like with the needles.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to roll.
I need a little chibi cactus carving. Yes. So go ahead and roll there.
5d6. What do we got? I got a 4 and doubles.
Okay. So you again bypass the obstacle, but take a mark of damage to the rating. So let me go back here. I think I'll kind of let you decide where that mark is going on how you think this would kind of go. So we have armor, seals, speed, saws, stealth, or tilt. The tilt and stealth only have one. You have one marked in saws, but everything else is like empty. But yeah, you are able to successfully get this engine kind of going in a way as the captain. You can, you're so tuned in, you can kind of feel when it's going, get everything plugged in right, and just head straight into that canopy to get a little deeper.
I think if we're submerging, some of the seals might have popped, just with the extra brush. So I think we can have one mark in saws and one in seals.
Okay. So yeah, you are able to get it going. Key, anything you would like to do as the ship is still starting to go under, so you have an option to do something while we're still up in the air, or once we start getting below the tree or the leaves.
Oh, Key is really not that equipped to do like big things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe she'll just run around and ask and see if anyone knows like what Iron Jaw rays don't like, or like are weak to or something.
Yeah.
I'm not in lore, but I'm sure other people on the crew might be.
Yeah, I think Paul's over there like securing the water buckets. Like just is a little disappointed that we're now dipping under when he's about to start collecting water, and he's like,
Sorry, Paul.
The best thing.
He's got to pick up all those buckets before the bramble takes it all away.
Yeah,
right. So it's like he's got to undo all the work.
After Shalon makes the announcement, she probably just automatically is like, "Oh man, Paul's gonna hate this."
Paul's gonna be on the current captain's side during the
Yeah, I was about to say Paul is gonna throw that wooden vote for me button over it.
Everyone's gonna be Team Shalon except for Paul.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but
No, I
he
go to
like
help
sees Paul.
I
me
preemptively
too.
go to help Paul because I'm like, "Oh no, Paul."
Yeah,
We'll go help him, and then just like just be like, Paul, you're smart. What do you know about iron jaw rays?
Yeah. Well, I know that they produce a lot of water that we desperately need on this ship. Let me just say. But besides that, it's probably good to get away from them because their thunder is very loud and it would very much damage things. And I would hate to see the captain if all of the glass in his little room shattered. That would not be fun. But yeah, he'll kind of give you a general gist here of this, the iron jaw ray here that I feel like he does it to you in a very like overdrawn, definitely not right for the time, like pirate story, you know, like, all right, this one time I was out. Yeah, he sings a little sea shanty, but that essentially the iron jaw right here is you know, just kind of this dark silhouette with the thunder, and that's how you know it's a coming. And he's like kind of like smells the air, and he's like, this rain just don't smell right, you know? That with some of his aspects are these spiraling horns, which could gouge and tear pretty much anything it would want to, and they are electrically charged. So, not great if it actually wants to get up y'all. Yeah. The spines down his back is what creates this thunder, releases bursts and blasts and shock damage when broken. So, there, you know, one time, the old Captain Redbeard was taking down a Leviathan, and he threw the harpoon in the spine, and it killed half the crew from its burst. You know, he's getting really into it. His voice goes from, "Hey, I'm Paul," to like, "I'm telling a story."
Love story, Paul.
I'm super into it.
I'm so glad that Paul is canon. I just came up with a random name, and now he's just this whole full-fledged character, and I love him.
He's like the only human on the crew. He's the only human on the crew.
He just has to deal with all these spiders and cactuses. Everything is either crawly or pokey.
He doesn't get it.
He will say that the iron jaws do not fly very fast. So if you can kind of outrun it, you're probably pretty good. And that, you know, whenever they retreat into the clouds, they just kind of go off and you don't see them anymore. It's just they kind of seem to go about their own will there. Then he goes on about how there's some winter ones that make snow, and that's real scary, but
So I relay this to whoever's around, and yeah, you just have to outrun it and it should be fine. But it seems kind of strange how these pirates how are they controlling it?
I think they just follow him. Just hide. Sneaky buggers.
They did come up out of this bramble stuff, or what is it, tangle? They did come up out of
Tangle,
the
yeah. Tangle into the thrash.
Sneaky jerks.
Yeah. They're storm chase. They're the like legit storm chasers.
Are
Like
storm
literally,
chasers.
that is all they do.
And from what I understand about storm chasers, that's about how it is, you know? Not the nicest of people.
Except some people report on it, while as other people use it to rob people.
Oh yeah.
That's true. There are still two not pretty sides. that coin. Oh, and then I also forgot because Taryn had a double, so we do have a twist coming. So we'll just because I think it's fun and we're in a one shot. The twists are essentially something interesting may happen as we basically get to skip a step here in my not clock but clock. As those of you on deck, and we'll say probably there is some sort of kind of glass viewing part in this engine room that you can kind of see the front of the ship. You know, maybe it's situated below deck in the front between the two saws. So you can see the inner workings of the saws. You can see how they're working outside, and you can kind of see it in here. But as you dip down, everyone kind of, grabs hold of something, ducks to try and avoid any falling branches or whips as you dip below further than the submarine. You see that it's not moving quite as quickly as thankfully Terran has your ship going, and it disappears as you've dipped down into this at first little spatters of the green and the gold, and then it gets black a little bit still from like those previous leaves. But then you kind of come out in this like tangle of more vines and things that are, you almost have like this interesting kind of cave situation of where you're almost just skirting along these roots without any sort of real slowing power happening here. And I think for any of you that have kind of been in this area for a bit, which this crew has at least been traversing the seas here for a while, as you kind of dip in, you notice there's a little bit of a glow as you see some of these kind of bioluminescent kind of mosses and some different little plants and some like little fireflies that come in, and you push through another little section of vines in this cave. It almost like, like tangled, just this beautiful vines kind of move to the side as y'all go through, and you see a spray of white blossoms push out as y'all have hit this tree top area that is just these beautiful light green leaves. The sun is starting to kind of come down, like it's almost like a lush cave that you're going through with this kind of like cottonwood-esque blooms being pushed off of the trees. Just the very top of your ship is just kind of brushing them, and you are able to gain a good bit of distance as you've just happened to come down into this cave without any resistance and truck it, and feeling very comforted by the normal flora and not the weird twisted stuff you've been seeing. The Leviathan, you hear the thunder and a bolt of lightning, but nothing penetrates through. You can just hear it kind of echoing through. But you do still hear that engine of the submarine kind of up ahead. You do hear one individual, probably the one that basically repelled back on the one harpoon, kind of yelling down. It's muffled, but you hear kind of the yelling as that noise gets further and further away. It seems they may not be pursuing you anymore. And y'all are able to start driving through this. After a bit, you don't hear the thunder, you don't hear the lightning, and y'all are able to start to dip back up as it is a beautiful sunset. The dark clouds are behind you, and you see the storm is still kind of happening, but sans the thunder and the lightning. Just the leftover rain clouds. Paul looks off in the distance. Just off the back of the ship, as the rest of you kind of turn to the sun that is setting on quite an interesting view that y'all are now seeing, of where in front of you, you see essentially a rope city, a hanging city. There are these tall trees that are shooting off in kind of sporadic areas. It looks like a lot of clearing has happened, and there are rope bridges and wooden platforms that kind of hang about and spiral up some of these trees. But then you notice in the center of it, they almost kind of make an arch. In the center of it, there is a large, huge ribcage from some long, long dead animal that some of these ropes kind of intermix between and kind of go about. And then on the bottom, you see a wood platform with some other ships docked as you have made it to one of the settlements here in Foxloft called Cage. You know it as a general, just a smaller outpost, nothing big, but does have some trade and some things. But then off to the side, you do see the Seven Walls, which is what I was saying y'all recognized before as ruins of just these big offshoots of this like metal and stone buildings that have been cut apart, you know, a lot of the brush and stuff pulled off of them. And everything is nice and quiet. Is there anything that y'all would like to do? As the captain is like hyperventilating a bit, but like calming down and steering toward Cage, is like, we need a drink. We need to just calm down. We just need to calm down. And everything's gonna be fine. They're not gonna respect you if you don't just calm down. I need a drink.
So Shalon will start making her way back to the captain's quarters where the intercom is, and she'll kind of take on like a almost like a tour guide or like a flight attendant type, like, we are now reaching our destination, like that kind of like a velvety, just, you know, like announcing like where we're going, just to kind of like, you know, the captain is hyperventilating, he's freaking out, so like I'm gonna try to, you know, just, okay guys, everything's okay, we escaped it, we're going here, it's gonna be okay.
Key realizes she needs like a little weapon of some sort. So I think when Cuban cut the ropes, there's still the harpoon that's still stuck in there. So she's just gonna try to yank it out of the deck and then just put it over her shoulder and just look around and be like, "Ooh, this is pretty."
Oh, it is very shiny. It is very shining chrome. But yeah, you kind of saw the button push, so you're able to, and it kind of retracts a little bit, and you push, and it gets a little taller. So you can basically have like a wing, you know, you can make it like small or big. Yeah. All right. What about Quoben or Taryn? What y'all doing as we see an end in sight?
Go ahead.
So I have a chart. I'm not sure if I'm using these correctly. It's sort of just like unique items, I guess. But I have a chart that is a port manifest in Nock. So as like I can't see where we're going, right? I'm below decks. But as I hear the announcement, I'm like, oh, we're coming up on Cage. I'm like, I remember seeing that somewhere. So I rustle through all these, you know, I have not good at maintenance, so my room is a mess. And just go through a stack of papers, and I find a port manifest in Nock for Cage that says they are really looking for textiles, and they have, you know, interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I think you kind of find that, and maybe, you know, Enos is down there kind of like going through some stuff, and you're like, hey, make sure you get this and this, we can sell it. Like kind of gathering. He's like, okay.
I think Coben is, while everybody's like gathering together and like the whole crew is doing their stuff, like Coben's like pissing for 30 minutes or something like that, and then like returns later. And the captain later upon returning to his crew quarters, right, or returning to his captain's quarters, on his bed there is an open box, and it's empty. No, not the big box, not the big box.
Oh.
A little box that is empty. And I have in my resources a specimen, a box of scorpions. And this will be the message to the captain that you are not fit to be the captain of this ship. do the right thing.
Oh. That's tough.
It's savage.
Shalon kind of finishes making sure the ship gets pulled into dock. You all breathe a sigh of relief as some of the dock workers kind of come out and help make sure everything's secured. And as you're walking off the boat, ready to have a drink, sleep somewhere that's not on the ship, and enjoy the rest of the sunset, you hear panic screams as the captain comes running out of the captain's quarters, just patting himself like crazy, and stop, drop, and rolls. And that is where we end this episode of Wildsea.
Awesome.
Oh man, I love it.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you guys for learning this game with me. It's very fun. I'm so excited to see what the full book, the full rules, the full lore is. That's gonna be so
I want a
fun.
whole campaign of this. This is so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So good.
Nothing quite like making a character while you're playing. I mean, like.
That's the way to go. Look, we made up a lot while we were playing, so we're good. But let's one more hello everybody, goodbye everybody, and then we'll head out. This time I'll start with David.
Oh, hi everybody. My name is David. You can find me at High Shelf David. I'm over at High Shelf Collective. We do this too. It's lots of fun. Very excited to be here, part of this channel, Lost Caravan. Thank you all so much for having me.
All right, and Frank.
Hi, I'm Frank. I'm with this. I play Taryn. This is fun.
That was so fun.
You're an old salt at this. You're ready to go. You're ready to go.
Ready.
Frank. Yeah, you're good.
Well, now, this was everyone's kind of first time playing in a while or playing on stream or whatever. Now it's like, when it comes out, you're like, hey, I'm a pro at this one game no one else is.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Yes. You can find my actual play over here if you watch it.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. We totally knew what we were doing.
Yes.
Then let's go to Casa.
Hi, I'm Casa. I will be. I had such a fun time playing Key, and I really want to play more Wildsea. This is super fun. But since I don't think there's any coming up, tomorrow I'm playing Pathfinder with James as DM here on Lost Caravan, and then Cyberpunk Red on the 20th as well, which I'm really excited for. And
That's
just just talking to everyone on the Discord. So go check that out if you haven't already. And yeah, this is super fun. Everyone's so nice, and it's like we've played before, but like this is the first time meeting everybody, so it's really cool.
Yeah.
It was a good vibe. And then Lonnie, yours a little sign off.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Lonnie. This is my first time streaming, but I have to say that now I don't think it's going to be my last, because this was really, really fun, and everyone was just amazing to work with. I'm actually like, wow, 3 hours just flew by. Are you kidding me? This is over?
Right.
But anyway, so I will on Monday I am going to be in my second stream ever, which is Monster Hearts with Lost Caravan RPG. So I will be changing up the vibe a lot. I feel like I played like a very innocent, like I just want to help everybody character now, and in that game I am going to be, it's literally about monsters having sex. So, I'm not even going to put it bluntly. That is literally just reading through the core book, just the basic synopsis.
That's pretty much it.
Like,
and it's great.
So,
these modern games are just so horny. It's so wild.
I literally, when I was signing up for one shots, I was like, this sounds interesting. I've never heard of this before, but I feel like I could like have fun with it, whatever. So I am playing two very different characters in two very different streams, but I'm excited to do it with the people at Lost Caravan. So
Yay! And then I am Taylor, or at _potato_ wherever. I also High Shelf Collective. I made
Hey, thank you for the raid, Nerds with Dice.
Thanks for the raid, guys. I'm so sorry we're leaving right now, but hey, go check out Wildsea. It's Kickstarter. You can get the quick start guide. You can get it. You can watch us VOD. It was super fun.
Look,
Can't
folks,
vouch
you can
for it.
You can play as a bag full of spiders, or a cactus person,
A
or a
cactus
fungus
person
person.
doesn't even have a face.
Yeah.
Literally just like
It's
flowers
amazing.
that are sensual, like
It just does.
your eyes
You-
are just
You ride on a chainsaw ship through the vast canopy of trees. It's amazing.
That was really just happened for the last 3 hours. I feel like this is a fever dream.
It's so
It's such
good.
a random. It's so good.
So
But
we had
hey,
2 cacti and 2 bags of spiders on a giant chainsaw.
We had one
fight
token
a-
human, Paul.
Fight a sky shark? Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, I
Sky
ran away
shark,
from a
yeah.
sky shark, and oh yeah,
It was good.
So many
It was
fun
good.
it's good.
Yes.
So many. Oh, triangles. Duh, triangles. You
So
can't
many
forget
triangles.
So many
That's
triangles.
literally just the lore.
Beware of the triangles. All right. No.
Beware the triangles. But this was great. Watch the VOD, but also come back tomorrow for Pathfinder 2E as well as D&D 5e on Saturday. It is there. The Nestra campaign. It is absolutely great. Everyone go watch it and catch up. It's so good. As well as Lancer on Sunday, which is the first episode of season 2 of Necromancers. Great name. Great name. And then and then see all these wonderful humans playing games or saying hi. And I think next week, 2 weeks, I'll be back on Lost Caravan. We're gonna be playing some Cyberpunk. I'm real excited for it.
It's good.
Heck yeah. That's it. That's all I have to say, everybody. Everyone have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week, great rest of your month. I don't know. Until I see you next time, just do great.
Be good.
Smile and wave.
Bye. Smile and wave.